if we could play something, either you play or just put a soundtrack on real lightly, either way. I don't want to wear you out just by playing, you know. So you can play a little bit until we can find some music that is kind of soothing and relaxing. I just kind of felt once again, when we start to get into these things, Nathan hit some things that was just freaking me out, man. And that's what happens when you get in this, because I know some of the things he's saying, and what I have to do is when we get in these things, I have to look for those moments to see what God wants to do. That makes sense? Because, I mean, we got information after information. But if you don't watch it, all that does is just cause more questions. Okay? And that's not our agenda. We don't want you to have information. We want you to have manifestation. That makes sense? So, I'm not sure how this is going to go and how long it's going to go and where we're going to go with it. And like I told you earlier, I love y'all. We're honored to be here. Probably around 9 if I can walk. We're leaving, okay, because we got to drive to Houston. They're not leaving. They're here. Jared's going to make sure. He may teach a little bit at the end and give you some instruction. I don't know. Okay? But I feel like this is what we're supposed to do. And I'd love to give you instruction on what that is. But I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in this river and we're going to go down it. So I don't want you to have a Bible. I don't want you to have notes. But I definitely want you to position yourself the way you did back there. So if that's lay on the floor, if that's, I want you in a place where you can hear without trying to figure it out. You're just listening. Does that make sense? And if you go to sleep like Blake, we'll just let you sleep till we get time to go. Now, be honest with you, I can't tell you how many meditation times I've went in and went to sleep. That's what peace does. Okay? So don't ever feel bad when you go into meditation, you go to sleep. That's not a bad thing. A lot of times then you'll get a dream in the midst of that. He just needs you to just yield. Okay? So that's the main thing we're after tonight. I'm going to brainwash you. Y'all ready? You think I'm kidding, but I'm not. God's going to come with the washing of his word, and he's just going to start to wash your brain. He's going to start to wash things on the inside of you. And it's exactly what Nathan was saying. I just need you to say yes. Okay? Either you trust me or you don't. And hopefully, you wouldn't be here if you didn't trust me. Okay? The other thing is, do you trust God? If you don't trust me, trust him. All right? Because this is where we're going. These are things that church is going to start to look more like, because this is family. That's why we do so many things at our home. So, when you start to do this in church, people feels weird. What are you doing? You got to have this and 2 songs. And we've been speaking against that for years, but we continue to do it. Okay? The structure is changing. It's time for a new wineskin. Okay? But to do that, you got to be willing to be that wineskin. All right? So I'm going to read some things to you. I'm going to proclaim some things. You don't need to go to the Bible and find it. You don't find a note. All you need to do right now is hear, because this is what I'm about to do. I'm about to open the realm for you. Okay? You won't even have to open it. I'm going to open it for you. But you will have to walk through it. I'll give you some instruction about it, but all you need to do is just listen and just let it go. And then wherever he starts to take you, if you see him, just go with him. He starts to talk to you, just Leave me alone. Just go where you need to go, okay? But we are going to travel without ever leaving right now. All right? So let these two come in. You almost missed the rapture. That wasn't funny. That was true. Rapture just means to be caught up. You're just caught up in another realm. And so Psalms 139 says this about you. Come on, so just close your eyes and just listen. Psalms 139 says this about you, that before any of your days were lived out, they were all written in his book. So if he has a book about you and it's in heaven and it's a book that exists outside of time, then everything written in that book about you has to be good. Because this is before Adam fell. This is before Adam ever disobeyed. This is what Ephesians says when he said he predestined you. And he predestined you to be a son for the adoption of sons. Ephesians said that you were in him before the foundation of the world. So if you were in him, you must have been good. In him, he created everything. So if you were in him when he created everything, then what was made that was not created by him and for him? It was for his pleasure. Everything that he's done, even though you may not understand, is for his pleasure. You are his pleasure. So he took 3 disciples up into the mountain of God. It's not a literal mountain. If this was a literal mountain, it would have took them days to get up that mountain. It actually represented he was taking them up into another realm. And he literally was going to open their eyes and let them see. And as they go up into this other realm, they actually see him transform. They see him literally just turn to light. What was happening is the light that was on the inside of him, their eyes were opened to see it just come clearly through his flesh. What you need to understand is Elijah and Moses was in the same form. They both were standing there in light, in the other realm, and the disciples knew who they were. So even though you've been told certain things about your body, there's a knowing in that realm and a recognizing and an understanding of who people are. So as God opens things up to you and you see someone, just go towards them. This is what he's made you to do, because everything in the universe is made by him. It's made for him. And you were in him when he made it, so where can you not go? Because his presence is everywhere and his presence is in you. So if his presence is in you, then you're everywhere. All you have to do is let him open your eyes. All you have to do is let him show you who you are, the greatness of who you are, that you're a creator. You're made in his likeness and in his image. He says the light shines through the darkness. But he also says light and darkness look the same to him. The reason they look the same to him is he is full of light and there is no darkness in him, no shadow of turning. So if everything he sees is light, then everything he sees is good. But you would say, there's evil. I've done this, I've done that. What you don't understand is you see through natural eyes. He sees through the eyes of love. And love burns out everything that is not of him. So if he burns out everything that's not of him, there is no darkness in you at all. Even though you may see darkness, He does not, because he sees it from a finished position. He sees it because he's the Alpha and the Omega. He started it and finished it before he ever said in the beginning. So everything he sees is light. You're in that light. That light is in you. Where can you not go? What can you not see? The only limitations that you have are the limitations that you put on yourself. There is no enemy except you. You're not an enemy to God. The only enemy that is an illusion to you is you, because you don't understand God killed that enemy. God became you. He became darkness. He became sin. He became every evil that could even be imagined or thought of. He put it on the cross. He killed it. He resurrected a new man, a new body. And he gives you that new body, that new nature. He gives you and says, now I have made all men alive. So he took that new body and he took it back into another realm. And then from that realm, he sent his spirit, the same spirit that went into the lowest realm that we would call hell, the hidden place, the dark place, the evil place. He goes into that place, sends his spirit. And the ones that were separated from him, the way we've been told they were separated, the way we were told they were in darkness, his spirit went down, resurrected them in his resurrection, put them in the cloud of witnesses. As he got his body, it's a representation of a new wineskin. It's a representation of all things have become new. Old things have passed away. So if they're passed away and they're old things, and now he gives you his position, which is new and alive, then sin is just an illusion. Sin does not even exist in this realm. Sin does not exist in the presence of God that only sees light, because he crucified it before the foundation of the world. So what he did is he judged himself as he judged man in himself before the beginning of time. In judging this, there was never a problem. There was never a plan B. There was never a mistake. It's all the plan of God to create man in the very image of God. So even in creating evil, he created the destroyer to destroy. So he sent his son as a man to carry out the plan of the Father, which was to destroy the destroyer. So what was it to destroy? Death was let in, fear was let in, shame was let in. But now there's a man that come to the earth to destroy the destroyer. He said, I have finished the work that my Father has sent me here to do. I have destroyed the works of Satan. So if he's destroyed the works of Satan, there is no death. Death is only in this realm. And this realm is only temporal, because the eternal realm is a realm of light that will eventually completely fill this realm. It's in progress right now. Even though you would look with your natural eyes and you would see shame, you would see guilt, you would see fear, you would see all these things that are the attributes of death. But God said, I have defeated death. I have judged death. Death is going to be destroyed. And I am going to co-create. I'm going to co-create with mankind in the universe. But before I co-create in the universe, I'm going to co-create with man on the planet. As I co-create with man on the planet, he is now walking with me I'm in him, he's in me, and we are releasing life everywhere we go. We're releasing light into darkness. Even though some would not see it in the natural, this light is pushing out every bit of darkness. Not only is it changing everything in you, it's actually conforming everything on the planet. It's conforming it into the very image of love. Love conquers all. Love will conquer every single issue. As we look to light, light is pushing out darkness and will eventually put death underneath your feet. So if it's already done, we can choose to either wait on the manifestation to happen, or we can become the manifestation that's co-creating at this moment. So what are we co-creating? We are creating only what we are. And what we are is light. And in that light, there is no darkness. So the light that is in me at this moment, I choose to release. I choose to move in to the Blu-ray. I choose to allow the spirit of revelation to open my eyes right now. I choose for the spirit of revelation to bring me back even in time to the memory of who I was before I ever came to the planet. The conversation that I had with myself, which was in God and God in me. And we had a conversation of our plan and when I would come to the earth. And yes, I chose this time. I chose this time to come into the planet to be a co-creator, to walk with him, to manifest the light on the inside of me, to not run from darkness, but to repel every bit of darkness. And as that revelation is coming into me now, I choose to see my greatness. I choose to embrace that I am righteous. I choose to believe that I am made in his image and in his likeness. I choose to believe that I carry the words of life. And everywhere I go, when I release life, my words, they are spirit and life. They are creating life everywhere I go. So right now, I go into my past. And what looks like was death, I release life into it. Every person that has ever hurt me, where it was darkness and pain, now I remove it by speaking life, because my words are life and they're light. I do not hold anything against them. I do not hold them and their sin to any account, because I am co-creating with my God. And just like he forgave me and removed that sin, it no longer exists in them. So I hold them not to that account. I release life where I was abused. I release life where I was raped. I release life where I was molested. I release life in every situation that I've been in, when they took advantage of me, when they spoke words to me that damaged me. I now claim back that territory of darkness and I speak life into it. I say, you will live again. I say, you will live again. I say, I will not live in darkness. I will not live in blindness. I am full of light. So I forgive my mother. I forgive my father. I forgive my sons. I forgive my daughters. I forgive my friends. I forgive my pastor. I forgive my youth pastor. I forgive my children. Every word spoken against me, there is no darkness in those words, because darkness cannot get into light. And I'm full of light. So I release light in every situation. I have never been taken advantage of. I reverse it and I release life. In every area where I have been robbed from financially, emotionally, I release life into those areas. I say at the cross was a manifestation of my wealth. At the cross was a manifestation into time, my healing and my resources. At the cross was the manifestation that his love was demonstrated inside of time for me. I choose right now, and the reason I choose is because I made that choice before I ever came here. My free will was the free will that I had outside of time, not inside of time. And because it was my free will, because it was a will inside of God that was in agreement. So every time here I come into agreement with His will, it actually is my will because I was in Him when we made this choice. And we decided to come to the planet. And we decided to release light. So right now, I co-create with Him. I walk in the areas of my past. I walk in the areas of my high school and my feelings where there was rejection, where there was persecution, where there was disappointment from my husband, from my wife, from my parents. I walk through them now, and wherever there has been weeds of darkness that has grown, that has produced things in my life that are thorns and thistles, right now I take the life that is in me and I release light into those areas. No longer will I reap from thorns and thistles. No longer will I reap from the mindset that I got from Adam. Those are dead. He killed him on the cross, so I totally embrace this new life I have. I totally embrace the last man Adam. The last man Adam that I'm walking with, that I was in before, outside of time, and made every choice that I'm making right now. Because those choices were already made, but I am just like Jesus. Now I'm manifesting the choices that I made outside of time, inside of time. And because I am doing that, everything that is in my life, everything that around me that is darkness, that even others have chosen, I take my light and I create a new life. I create new life in them. I reconcile them to someone they don't even think they know. I forgive them of their sins. I stand in their behalf, for I am a priest. I am a priest on their behalf because I do not hold it to their account, and I have forgiven them, so their sin no longer remains. It doesn't remain with Christ. It's only remained when humans hold it against them. But now that I am in co-creating understanding with Christ, I can loose their sin. Because whatever I loose on earth is loosed from heaven. Because it was loosed from heaven before it ever came to earth. So I loose them of their sins and the darkness they're in. My brothers, my sisters, my father, my family, my friends that cannot see. I'm a creator. I'm a creator because I'm a being of light. So I take that light right now and I send it into their darkness. And I say that light will start to open their eyes. I say divine appointments will come to them. I release dreams into them. I release visions into them. I set them free from the bondage that they think they're in, that they don't even understand that it's been taken care of. But God needs agreement, so He has me. So I'm in co-agreement because we're co-heirs. So I'm creating for them a new life. I'm sending life into their darkness. I'm sending light into their pornography. I'm sending light into their drunkenness. I'm sending light into their drug addiction. And I say, wherever darkness is attached to them, the light that I carry as a co-creator, I create and release that life into that darkness to go. For blinders to be broken. For those eyes to be open. I do this because I can. And so right now, I move into that realm. I move into the realm that I am so comfortable with because I was there before I ever came here. And I came here to make this realm look like that realm. That realm is on the inside of me, and I carry it wherever I go. But right now, I'm using that realm to create in this realm. So even with things that are hidden from me, I say they already belong to me. I say I've already seen them. So now I say open eyes to see what I have already seen. I say right now open mind to believe what I've already believed. Right now I say ears open to hear what I've already heard. And as this is happening in my life, I am receiving it. I am moving into it. I was, I am, and I am to come. I was in the past, I was in the now, and I am in the future. I am an eternal being. I have always been, and I will always be. Because I was in Him, I have never left Him. I've never been outside of His presence. It was an illusion that made me believe that I was outside of Him, but His presence is everywhere. So that presence that is in me and that I am in Him, I am a creator. So I create this day, and I choose no more words of limitations inside of time, because I am a being that operates and has authority in all realms of creation. And in that place, I release life. I release life. I release life. I release life. In every bit of darkness, life. In every hurt, life. In every wound, life. In every disappointment, life. In every situation that has ever affected me in the negative, I said, not anymore. Right now, at this time, I release your life. Not just a down payment of life, but the fullness of life. I say I walk in the same thing that Jesus walked in when Jesus was on the planet. Jesus said, I am with the Father, and the Father is with me. If you've seen the Father, you've seen me. You can have a relationship with Father just like I have a relationship with Father. The fullness of the Godhead dwelt in Jesus. Now I'm a co-heir with Jesus. So the fullness of the Godhead dwells in me, and I dwell in it, just like before time. So nothing has changed. It's an illusion that tells me that I'm separated, but there's no separation. It tells me that there's darkness, but darkness just exists so it can be defeated. Darkness is just there to show me the reality that I am in charge. And the way that I understand that I'm in charge is anything that is against me, I must overcome. So even though it may look like it is my enemy, it's actually my elevator. It's actually my promotion. It's actually what you're giving to me so that I can see truly who I am. Not by just making me that person and giving it to me without a process. Because in the process, little by little, I not only come into the revelation of who you are, I come into the revelation of who I am. And in that revelation, I realize more, I'm becoming just like you. So I don't see sickness as a problem. I see sickness as an opportunity for the glory that I carry on the inside of me to be revealed upon the sickness. The sickness is there for me to heal it. The blindness is there for me to open it. The wound is there for it to be healed. The prison is there for me to open it. Every situation, the debt is there for me to pay it. Every situation that looks like an enemy is nothing but an elevator that is availing me to the place and the supply that is already in me. As I choose to do this, I'm letting glory out of the box. I'm letting light out of the box. What is that? I am manifesting who I am, and I am light. I am God's chosen. I am God's favorite. I am God's righteousness. I am God's son upon the planet. I am the one that He has placed here that I agreed with at this time, that I would be part of a people that would come into the understanding of who we are, that would change Atoka, Oklahoma, that would change southeastern Oklahoma, that would change Houston, Texas, that would change Virginia, that would change Louisiana. Why would it change? Because there's a creator that lives in that state. There's a creator that lives in Missouri. There's a creator that lives in Nebraska. There's a creator, and that creator can only create of itself. And what is it? It is light. So every place I go, I'm releasing light. Just like when they went into the promised land, every step they took, they claimed that territory. For that land belonged to them. It's a good land. It's a land flowing with milk and honeys. Oh, giants are nothing for us. Giants are just opportunity. Giants are just elevators that we look at them and smile and say, you're not even my enemy. I just need to remove you for the time being. And in the midst of that, I am walking into the full inheritance of what I've created. I will not settle for status quo. I will not settle for no power. I will not settle for religion. I will not settle for just going to church. I will not settle with man's religion. I will not settle for man's ideas. I choose to believe how God sees me. God sees me perfect. God sees me holy. God sees me righteous. God sees me deserving. I please him and he pleases me. So we walk in pleasure. We eat the fruit of the Garden of Eden. We walk into the mountains. We swim into the rivers. We have the healing for the nations. Our emotions are no longer damaged. Every place that our emotions have been touched in the old Adam, we say he's already dead. A dead man don't have emotions. A dead man don't have unforgiveness. A dead man don't feel pain. A dead man don't have hurt. He's dead. So we choose in every area of that life, that illusion that has lied to us, we proclaim this day the same thing we proclaimed before we ever came here. That Adam does not exist. He's dead. So from this day forward, I start to move in light. Everywhere I walk is light. Every place in my bedroom, every place in my home, every place in my workplace, every place in my city, every step, every thought of my children, every thought of my grandchildren, they will not have to face what I faced because I'm killing it today. And the light that lives in me will live in them, and it will come out at an early age. It'll not have to go through the religious system. It'll not have to go through man-made ideas because, see, I'm a co-creator and I speak a word over my child, and it's God speaking through me because my words are spirit. My words are life. And so where there's sickness, where there's problems, where there's trauma, where there's issues with dope, where there's issues that has affected even our minds, right now the light on the inside of us starts to push out everything. Everywhere there is sickness, everywhere there is pain, light don't put up with pain, it pushes it away. Light don't put up with darkness, it pushes it out. Light don't put up with limitations, it says there is no limitations. So even though we are light, we are energy, we have been slowed down to visibility, but right now we walk into the realm where it doesn't matter that we are seen or unseen. In the carnal realm, we are life, and we release life into every area. We say this land will start to live again. We say the resources of this land will start to come forth. We say the native people in this land will start to see. We say the African Americans in this land will start to see. We say they will, the prejudice and the denominations and the barriers that have separated us, the genders that have separated us, right now we co-create and we release life. We release life into relationships. We say we're families that have been broken and families that have been ripped apart. We right now speak life and we create restoration. We create restoration. We create restoration. We call it back into alignment. We call it back into alignment. We release what's in us to affect every situation. So right now, God, in our own lives, open up the gold ray. Open up what I have spoke into them. That realm is open now. It's open now. Let him right now set you in that identity. Let that revelation of what I just prophesied, let the gold ray come in. You say, how do I do that? Right now, let him show you your true identity. Let him settle it right now. You're not white. You're not black. You're not Oklahoman. You're not Texan. You're not American. You're kingdom. You're kingdom. You're from another realm. Let him settle it. Let him settle it deep on the inside of you. Whatever that has been in them, that is blinding them, right now, Lord, bring it up. Bring it up right now. Bring it up. Whatever he brings up, put light on it. Whatever darkness he brings up, your sin that has been condemning you, your issue that you've been condemning yourself over, I put light into it right now. And where there is light, it doesn't even exist. So let it come up. Let it come up. Every anger problem, every temper, every sexual issue, let it come up. Do not hide it. Do not keep it in darkness. Do not justify it. Put the light on it. Put the light on it. What does that mean? I don't have a sexual issue. I don't have a temper problem. I don't have an anger problem. That's just behavior outside of my identity. So right now, God, set my identity. Show me. Show me my sonship. Show me my sonship. Show me there's no way I can live outside of you. The very breath that's on the inside of me is proof that you are my God. And I cannot go anywhere without you. Everywhere I go, you're breathing through me. You're looking through my eyes. And so God, right now, as I move into my identity, which is your identity is my identity. So right now, I have no more judgment. The only judgment I have is what's already been judged. And what's already been judged is that you are good. You are good. And everything that you've ever created is good. Even though we would see evil and we say that's not good. Oh, but it is. Because I said it was good. And I created all things by me and for me. And I'm using them in your identity to show you the life that you have in you can overcome all things. So the adversity that you're facing was never meant to destroy you, was never meant to harm you. It was always meant for it to be defeated. But I had to wait. I had to wait, and I'm conforming man into my image. I've been looking for a generation, not just a person. I've had people. I've had ones here and I had them there. I've had the Enochs. I've had ones that saw it. I've had ones that's entered into it. But God says now there is a generation that is arising on the planet. It is ones that are being awakened on the inside of them of who they have always been. And that light that is shining through the darkness is getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And it's the dawning of a new day, which is a person. And that day, that person has always been in charge. And we come into agreement, we come into alignment that you have never not been in charge. You have never had plan B. This is always you conforming me. And so I allow even a more confirmation in me today, a more revelation of my identity in this month of May, so I can understand and hear, so I can start to say, so I can say your words and not mine, so I can realize that really I'm fine. You've called me into this hour, and now you are releasing this brand new power. It's a power of identity and revelation that has never been known. But oh yeah, a long time ago it was sown. But now is the time for harvest that we may see. And it comes from this place of intimacy. I am in you and you are in me. So as I start to speak, then I start to see. I move into what I hear, and I know that you're not far away. You're right here. So I take my words, which are really yours, me and you, walking this thing through. So in every situation I do not understand, I will never again look to a man. But now I come into a greater place, and it is the fullness of your grace. So I speak life. Come on, right now, let him set your identity. I want you to see yourself like you have never seen. How do I do that? Let him show you who you are right now. As Dog said, some of you may get a sword. Some of you may be sitting at a table. Some of you may be sitting in a chair like a king. I see some sitting in an office. I see some sitting as bankers. I see some standing out in the field like David, being conformed from a shepherd to a king. Allow the humility so that he can exalt you. Do not despise the process. So the process takes a shepherd and makes him a king. He was always a king, but he just needed the process. The process was to get the carnal out of him, is to show him he had to do this together with me. He was always who he is, but he just coming into understanding that it's me and you together, co-creating, 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 co-creating. Set your identity right now. Open it, Lord. Open their eyes to see themselves of who they were before they ever came. The agreement to live where they're living. The agreement to marry who they're married to. The agreement to work where they're working. It may not be the end, but it is in the middle of the process. So I choose to rejoice in the middle of the process. You finished it, and I'm working towards the finished product. You finished it, and I'm working towards the finished product. And the finished product is Christ. The finished product is Christ. It's perfection. It's love that defeats every enemy. Every enemy shall be defeated. Every enemy shall be defeated. It's already done in this realm. So I take this realm and what's done, and I start to apply it in this realm. So where my finances don't look right, I create resources right now. I create business right now. I release favor in my bank account right now. I release identity of kingdom because I choose to put kingdom first. I choose to put first how the king sees me. And the king sees me just like himself because he's in me and I'm in him. And he's prosperous. He's so prosperous, he owns everything. He owns it all. So whatever I need for the kingdom now starts to come to me. So I call it forth right now. Come on, do this. Call it forth right now. Call the resources into your life. Not to fill your wants and needs, but to fill the heart of the kingdom. In fulfilling that, your wants and needs get met. So we call it forth right now, God, because it belongs to us. It was your will that you became poor so we may be rich. But God, we don't want to just settle for money. We want true riches. And the true riches is your light being released into darkness. True riches is where there is love that gets cast out by perfect fear. It's where there is torment that get released by perfect love. We release it into areas in our minds that have condemned us, that have made us feel separate from you. Memories, traumas, right now, I release light. I release light into it. Deaths that has caused trauma, I release light into it. I may not understand it, but you will work all things to good for those that love you. So God, we release your love into every arena. I don't have to understand. I want to experience. As I experience, I start to understand. So God, I release them into my life. Setting my identity tonight. Setting it in place. Setting it on the foundation who is Jesus Christ. So if he's the foundation, I'm going to build upon that foundation. So what does that foundation say about me? He says, I'm perfect. He says, I'm his favorite. He says, I look like him. He says, you're my son in whom I'm well pleased. So I start to build even this night on the foundation of who I always was. I bring pleasure to my God. My God brings pleasure to me. I'm his friend. He's my friend. He's my father. I'm his son. He's my brother. I'm his brother. We're a family. We're in covenant. We're in a covenant. It can't be broken. We're not just in the covenant. We are the covenant to the planet. We are the life that you made with each other to release to every mankind. So every curse that we've released, every false doctrine that we have cursed, even Russia, about the book of Revelation, God, we bring that back and we release life into that place. every person, every system that we've called the Antichrist. I say the Catholic are blessed. I say the Catholics are blessed. I say the Muslims are blessed. I say the Buddhists are blessed. I say they're searching and they're searching and they're searching. And right now, they may be on the wrong path, but I'm telling you, they're searching, and we release life into the Buddhism, and they will start to see. I say where they have been Muslims and they've been off track, we release the real, true life, that their eyes will be open. They are no different from us. They are us. We are connected to them. They are of mankind. They are of the last Adam, just like I am of the last Adam. I will no longer ever again curse my brother. Every word that is spoken out of my mouth that has released death, I now break the power of it, and I release life. I release my brothers in Iraq. Eyes will be opened. I release Korea, the North Korean, eyes will be opened. I say even in the Democratic and Republican Party of this nation, there is going to be a move of your spirit. And ones that used to be so mean and so angry and so hateful, in a moment of time, there's going to be an encounter and there's going to be a shift. National TV will start to see it. There's a news broadcaster that's going to come underneath the power of God, and he's going to have an encounter with me, and he's going to go on the news to say one thing, and all of a sudden something else comes out of his mouth. God says it'll be a sign to you of what's happening in this nation. You may see evil and you may say it looked like this, but I tell you, I'm taking some Sauls and I'm going to turn them into some Pauls, and the ones that came against the Christianity and came against me the hardest are going to have encounters of me, and in the moment of a time it's going to be shifted, and they will already have a voice, already have a place, already be sitting in a position, and release life over the airways, release life into the politics. I say, God, we come into agreement with your words. Life of true identity, life of who we are. Come on, I need some agreement. Some of you just need to agree. Okay, some of this is showing, and some of us need to come up out of your belly. You need to let some glory out of the box, okay? Let some glory out of the box. I don't need you to be loud. I just need you to respond. Respond in your spirit. Respond to what God's doing right now. He's setting you. Why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you here? This is an elevator. Why are you here? This is an elevator. Why are you facing that giant that's been mocking you? Because it's an elevator. Don't run from that giant. It's a time of promotion for you. It's a time to take the head off of that thing that's been mocking you, that thing that's been lying to you, that thing that's been stripping you, that thing that's causing you to be nude and naked and running away afraid. God said, no more. No more. You reach into your inheritance. You pull out the living stone that you are, and you throw that word of God, and you hit it right between the forehead, and then you use the very sword that you were afraid of to cut the head off of that enemy. And then you look back to a generation that was in fear and intimidation, and now you're holding the head of the thing that caused everybody else to be in fear. God said, why are you here? I brought you here because you're David's. You're Jacob's, you're Abraham's, you're Noah's, you're Moses, you're ones that I'm calling out as first fruits. You're ones that are moving in and understanding and awakening to who you are, to take the territory, to prove to every living creature on this planet there is one God, and he lives on the inside of you, and you live on the inside of him. It is returning, says the Lord. What is returning? What is returning? Redemption. Remembering. Come on. Repentance. Replenish. He's redoing some things. Why does he have to redo it? Because the time is coming into alignment with the decision that was made outside of time. Because the fullness of time now lives in you. Jesus Christ is the fullness of time, and he lives in you. That means you can go backwards and you can go forwards. You can be in the now and you can be in the yesterday. You can be in the yesterday and you can be in the future. Why is that so important? Because you can literally shift your future by shifting your past. You can release life into trauma and it can become joy. I'm telling you, not only in you, I'm giving you this light and this understanding and this revelation to start to release to every single thing around you. Practice, says the Lord. Look at things that are dead, that are trees that have died, and say, live, and watch it come back to life. I am releasing life. Practice, practice, practice. It's in you. You got to learn to let it out of the box. You got to learn to let it out of the box. You let it out with your words. The words are in agreement. Take control of those thoughts, their seeds. Bring them into your heart. Hold them there. Believe them, and then release it out of you. For as your mind and your heart agree, you will manifest. You can ask anything according to my will. What is my will? You know what it is. You were in agreement with it before you ever came to the planet. You help make the agreement. You are that agreement between the realms to cause the realms to be one realm. So I am conforming you just like I am conforming the planet. And it's going from glory to glory to glory. And you are a part of doing it. Come on. One more. And so God, we move right now and we opened the ruby red. We opened the ruby red. We opened the ruby red. Come on, you can't be quiet on this one. We opened the ruby red. God, we have revelation of who we are. You have set our identity as gold, as pure gold, as in perfection. And now come on, get on your feet. Let's go. Let's go. Let's start to celebrate. Here we go into celebration. Now we start to celebrate. Now we start to give thanks. Now we start to say, oh God, you are good in all things. There is none like you except me on the planet. And we are shifting the realms. And we are in gratitude for your life that belongs to us. And everything that touches us will live. Every bit of death that we come into is shifted, so we release life. Come on, we release life. Just go into what you want to go in, but we got to celebrate. We got to celebrate. We got to celebrate. We got to celebrate life, life, life. We release life, life out of the midst of darkness to turn every bit of darkness. Life, life, life into our children. Go ahead, Nathan, just hit something. Come on, feel the vibration, feel it, move into it, move into it. Now, just because we're going into celebration, don't mean you can't go into that realm. You can still operate and worship and give thanksgiving from that realm. Right now, God, we release that red ray. We release it. Do we find gratitude in everything in our life? Even what looks like disappointment, right now, you are shifting it. You are changing it. Every bit of discouragement is being shifted. It's coming into joy. Joy comes in the morning. That's a person. I receive the morning right now. I receive the day right now. I release light right now.